What if you don't have a money problem, but a clarity problem? I'm Stephen Libman, and I work in the money investing and real estate education space. And I help Gen X and older millennials, business owners, and investor minded people who already have some income, assets, or borrowing power, but still feel stuck between caution and action. They're not starting from zero. They're absolutely not clueless. They're not incapable. And they usually already have something to work with. They have income, they have equity, savings, access to capital, experience, but they're still hesitating, still circling, still overthinking. And if that sounds familiar, good. That means you're in the right place. Because a lot of smart people quietly live in this space. I know I should be doing more with my money, but I don't want to make a stupid move. Or how do I know what actually makes sense to me? Or how do I stop consuming all this information and finally make a solid decision? That's the trap. Not lack of intelligence, not lack of what? Ambition, lack of clarity. And when clarity is missing, people delay. They drift. And that drift costs more than people realize. You see, a lot of people think they need more information. Usually, the opposite is true. Usually, they need a better way to think. They need a framework because more random opinions does not create more confidence. Better thinking does. So, here's what I believe. You don't need to know everything. You simply need to know what matters most and most to you. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a decision-making process that you can trust. And you don't need to become fearless. You just need to become clear enough to act. That sounds simple, right? But simple is not the same as easy, is it? So let me show you what I mean. I've worked with people who had been sitting around the sidelines for years. This one guy in particular that I remember had been circling the investor world for the longest time. Smart guy, good guy, not broke, not asleep at the wheel. He had the ability to move. What he did not have was a clean lens. So, like a lot of people, he kept doing what smart, stuck people do. More thinking, more researching, more waiting, second guessing, watching other people. He was being careful, but careful can easily and quietly become frozen. And frozen has a real cost. You know, when we started working through my framework, three things changed for him. First, he got clear on what actually mattered most to him. Not every headline, not every market opinion, not every loud voice on the internet, but what mattered most. His actual goals, his resources, his constraints, his comfort level, his next move. Because until you know what matters most, everything feels equally important. And when everything feels important, people do nothing. Second, he stopped chasing the perfect plan and started turning things into a better decision process. This is a big shift because perfection is a stall tactic dressed up as intelligence. He didn't need some fantasy plan with zero risk and guaranteed upside. He needed a way to evaluate opportunities with more clarity, less emotional noise. And that changed everything. Because third, he stopped waiting to feel fearless. He got clear enough to act. And that's where momentum lives, not in certainty, in clarity, not in bravado, in alignment, not in hype, in taking the next solid step. And after working through that lens, he made a sizable real estate investment. Yes, that mattered. But honestly, The bigger investment was really in himself because he stopped behaving like a spectator in his own financial life. He started acting like someone who could think, decide, and finally move. And that's the transformation. That's what I care about. Not just getting people excited, but getting them clear. Because smart people do not usually need more noise. They need that clearer lens. So if you've ever felt like you should be doing more with your money, but you're tired of second guessing every move, if you have income, assets, equity, or borrowing power, but you know you're under optimized, if you're done with drifting, circling, and done pretending more content is the answer, well, then I made something for you. And it's called the 5 Investment Insights for Making Better Financial Decisions. It's designed to help you think better, filter the noise, and make stronger decisions with way more confidence. No fluff, no motivation, no fairy dust, just practical perspective that can help you make better moves. You can simply go to stevenlibman.com and get your copy of 5 Investment Insights for Making Better Financial Decisions. But read it, use it, and let it help you start seeing your money decisions more clearly. Because you don't need to know everything, but you do need to start seeing better. And that might just be the beginning of a very different version of you.